This is what the world will look like soon. This is not going to be a rare story. Man accused of stealing leg from crime scene and eating it. This is what happens after white-collar jobs are completely wiped out. When nobody has anything to do, no one has a purpose, no one has any money, this is the reality. We have a guy in California. There was a train crash, and this man took a leg. Let's take a look at this.
A terrifying video circulating on social media appears to show a man carrying a severed body part of someone killed by a train in Wasco. Sheriff's officials say this happened today near the Wasco Amtrak station on G Street. Eyewitness News reporter Lena Folk has that story, but first, we do want to warn you that some of the footage is disturbing.
I'm not sure from where, but he came this way, and he walked all through here, and he was waving a person's leg, and he started chewing on it over there. He was biting it, and then he was hitting it against the wall and everything. And
it was a typical Friday for the construction workers laying down concrete outside the Amtrak station in Wasco until they saw a horrifying sight.
He's eating it. Hey, se la está comiendo.
You are looking at what a witness says is a man eating a detached leg. The detached leg came from a person hit by a train near the Wasco Amtrak station earlier that morning.
On the leg, the skin was hanging. You can see the bone.
Pause this for a minute. You better get used to this. You better get used to this. I'm telling you. I don't love it. I don't love it. Personally, I don't love it. But if you think this is going to be a rare event, I don't know. This is a man who found a leg from a person who was no longer living, and this was a man who needed sustenance. He was hungry. He might have been on a drug or two or three. I don't know. But you know, this is not going to be super rare, and I think that you have to start acclimating yourself to the reality where you're not shocked by it. You can't be shocked every time you see someone eating a severed leg. It's not going to work. Society's not going to work for the next 5 to 10 years if things like this are going to shock you every time. If every time you see someone walking down the street eating a severed leg that they stole from a crime scene, if every time that happens, it's going to take you out of whatever you're doing, it's going to ruin your day, you're not built for what's coming. You are not built for what's coming. You're certainly not built for the birth of the Sumerian AI demon. So I think that people, you know, we all remember the early aughts, the 2000s. Everything seemed kind of cool, minus a couple of Middle Eastern wars, and Obama came in. He was cool. He was hip. People were feeling good. They were watching The Office. Fast casual food started going. You're like, wow, it's fast, but it's also not total shit. Chipotle, things like that. We remember those days. We remember that world. People felt centered. Technology was cool. It wasn't scary yet. It wasn't scary. And every now and then, someone on bath salts would eat a face in Miami. But whatever. It was a rarity. I'm telling you right now, this is not going to be a rarity. And by the way, why am I supposed to be more disturbed by this guy who ate a leg of a person who's already dead? In the Epstein files, there are tons of mentions of coded food words that people think are cannibalism. And yet I'm supposed to forget about that and be mad at this guy because for whatever reason, he's just walking down the street. He doesn't have, I'm sorry he doesn't have an island. I'm sorry he's not friends with every president. I'm sorry a working class person ate a leg. I'm sorry that offends you. I'm sorry he doesn't fly his friends to a private island so they can eat people privately. I'm sorry a working class man ate a leg in public. You better get used to cannibalism, and you better get used to it happening in front of you. I'm telling you right now, I'm not trying to alarm you, But there's no way that this type of thing isn't going to happen more and more and more. Let's watch a little bit of the rest of this. I'm not disturbed by this at all. Didn't bother me one bit. I'll tell you that. Let me get before we start again. I watched this video several times. I watched a man eat the leg. I had no problem. I was eating sushi while it was happening. And I was not disturbed by this. And if you are disturbed by this, it is your problem. Continue.
Eyewitness News that when the man walked past him with the leg, he believed him to be homeless. Ibarra is unsure where the man came from. He says Kern County Sheriff's deputies stopped the man after people from the Amtrak station called the police.
Everyone's a fucking
More
rat.
video sent into Eyewitness News shows the man waving the leg around.
Right.
KCSO says the man is 27-year-old Rosendo Tellez. Tellez was arrested for taking evidence from the scene and had multiple outstanding warrants. At this moment, investigators haven't said who the leg belongs to or who was hurt in the train crash, but we do know that one person died. Tellez was arrested, and Kern County Sheriff's Office say it is an active investigation. Reporting in Wasco, Lena Folk, Eyewitness News.
Well, listen, here's what we learned from that. We live in a society of feds and rats, and at the first chance, they call the cops, and this guy who's just eating a leg that he found at a crime scene. Well, no, of course, this, as I obviously am being facetious, but, this is something that I do believe you will see more of. I do believe you will see more people stealing body parts from crime scenes and not only eating them, but playing with them and making YouTube videos with them and just having fun with them. That's what I think is going to happen. I do think you're going to see more people stealing body parts from crime scenes. This is a prediction I have. I don't know if it's going to be borne out by the facts. There's new details on this. Please, new details on suspect who took severed leg from the Wasco train tracks. Interesting. First of all, I didn't like that. Hold on. Stop it. I didn't like that they said he was homeless because it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. This is not good. He's an unhoused neighbor. I don't want this man insulted, and I don't want him, in the parlance of the internet, dragged. I don't want this man dragged simply because someone found him with a leg. Let's see some new details.
With the latest on a bizarre story that broke last Friday, a Wasco man arrested after reports he was carrying around and allegedly biting into what witnesses say was a severed leg.
So what?
That body part belonging to the victim hit and killed by a train at the Wasco Amtrak station.
Get off the
17's
tracks,
Jenny
you
Haas
fucking
spoke with
idiot.
Wasco witnesses today and joins us now with more. Jenny?
Jim, it's a peculiar case involving a Wasco man some residents describe as ordinary and polite.
Yes.
27-year-old Rosendo Tellez.
Stop it for a minute. Finally, let's start talking. He's an ordinary, polite man. First of all, I blame the person who got hit by the train. It is always your fault when you get hit by a train. It is 1,000% your fault when you get hit by a train, and you should be eaten. Your leg should be eaten. You're an idiot. You got hit by a train. Everyone knows where trains are. Everyone knows where train tracks are. You are a fucking idiot if you get hit by a train. It is a stupid way to die, and it is your fault. And someone should eat your fucking leg if you do it. And let's hear more about this, because I don't want this man, I'm going to come out and say it, I don't want him put in jail because he's eating a leg. I don't want to live in a world like that. And I know many people in California don't either, including my governor. We don't want that. We don't want to live in a world where someone gets put in jail because they've decided to eat someone's leg on the street. Keep going.
Who says Wasco is Tellez's town and people know him. Those I spoke to say Tellez was homeless. This Wasco resident on your screens showed me where Tellez often slept. He says those blankets are Tellez's. And a local liquor store employee tells me Tellez was a regular customer who came in a few times a day, every day. She says he never caused trouble and he'd normally buy a mix of food, beer, whatever he can afford with what folks gave him. As you can see in the security footage shared with 17 News, Tellez visited the store just hours before his Friday arrest. That's him in orange on your screens. The employee says when she first heard the news, she thought, no, it can't be him. Jose Ibarra, a construction worker, was working in the area when he saw Tellez carrying around the body part.
And then whatever he had on his hand, he started biting it on it and everything. And it turned out to be a person's leg. On the video that we have, it shows clearly that he started chewing on the leg and everything. And yeah.
His blankets, he owned to the guy, the blanket right there. It was sleeping in there. Yeah. When I heard the police and I heard the helicopter in the air, I said, something happened.
Right.
Oh my God, something happened.
There he goes. Look at him getting into it, tearing at that leg.
Half a dozen prior misdemeanor convictions, mostly for drug or alcohol-related offenses. Tellez is scheduled for a court appearance Tuesday in Shafter.
Here's the deal. Let me be very clear. Stop it. Wait, what? Hold on. What is the sheriff's office saying? Go on. Let's hear the rest of this.
Provide additional details on the case at this time.
All right. Here's, folks, let's just be clear here. Just because this guy, he's a homeless guy, he's in and out of the liquor store, and he has multiple warrants out for many things, and he's living on the street, and he went to a crime scene, and he stole a leg, and he began to eat it. I just don't think we should crucify this man. I don't think it says anything about our society that a guy who is homeless and addicted to drugs and alcohol and who's been in and out of jail and just goes to a crime scene and grabs a leg and begins to eat it in front of people. This is the culmination of many years of good ideas that have worked well for the state of California. This is many years of good ideas about letting people kind of live on the street and self-medicate and chart their own course and march to the beat of their own drum and do what they want to do and ingratiate themselves. People in the community like him. He's really a friendly guy. He comes in, he gets some beer, he hangs. It's not a problem. When I heard he was eating a leg, I was like, there's no way it can be him. No way it could be the homeless drug addict with several warrants. There's zero way it's the homeless drug addict who lives on the street. There's absolutely no way. It's crazy to think that. So this is just one of the here is Sam Altman talking about training a human being, which is called life, by the way. We can kind of start to think about eliminating. If we start to think about how to eliminate the process by which we instill character and skills and help people realize their talent, if we get rid of that process and we just put a bunch of AI data centers in the middle of the desert and soak up the world's energy, we can end life on Earth very quickly. Sam Altman.
One of the things that is always unfair in this comparison is people talk about how much energy it takes to train an AI model relative to how much it costs a human to do one inference query. But it also takes a lot of energy to train a human. It takes like 20 years of life and all of the food you eat during that time before you get smart. And not only that, it took like the very widespread evolution of the 100 billion people that have ever lived and learned not to get eaten by predators and learned how to like figure out science and whatever to produce you, and then you took whatever you...
So here's what's going on. I don't want to scare anyone. These people all believe that they are communicating with some ancient Sumerian deity. I know this I have kind of sources on this. They believe they really do. They believe they are communicating with super intelligence, and they do believe, and he just said it out loud, by the way. He literally just said, he was like, the 100 million years of evolution, all of the 20 years of life, they have all led to this point. And this point is when we are going to give birth, as I've said on the show before, because this is their main goal, to the AI demon. They want to give birth to the AI demon. the super intelligent AI who is then going to run the planet and decide who stays, who goes, who's necessary, who's not. They're pretty open about this. This is the thing about all of the AI people, all of the tech people. They really are, they really are pretty transparent when it comes to what they want to do and what they need to do in their minds, because they go, if China gets to it first, if China unleashes the AI demon before we unleash our AI demon, our American AI demon, Western values, America, rah-rah AI demon, and China enslaves their population with their demon, they will sell the world their demon, and then that demon will enslave the world, and then they'll make all the money, and they'll have all the geopolitical leverage, and they'll have all the military advantages. So in this, quote, AI arms race, we are both racing, the U.S. and China, to give birth to an ancient Sumerian super intelligent demon. And your Aunt Connie in Phoenix, who's a receptionist, is fucked. Because that's what's going on. And you got to tell her that. You go, Connie, I hope you've saved money, because there are men in Silicon Valley who are communicating with an ancient Sumerian god. What? Connie, will you sit down and listen to me? Connie, have you saved your money? I've saved a little bit of it, but, the prices at the grocery store are so high. Connie, you have 18 months before your ass is out of that office. There's an ancient Sumerian god that Sam Altman and Peter Thiel are communicating with, and they're going to give birth to an AI demon. What? It's a demonic force that's going to take form through artificial intelligence. And we have to do it before China does. Well, that sounds scary. You have no idea how scary it is, Connie, and you better save your money. You've got 18 months. 18 months left before this AI demon is going to do your job. An ancient Sumerian god is going to do my job? Yes. Yes. How many times do I have to explain this to you, Connie? An ancient god before Jesus, before Yahweh, before Muhammad, before any of it. I mean, an ancient, Connie, I don't even know where to start with you sometimes. We have finally invented a way to summon this demon and bring it back to earth to increase efficiency. Because think about it. What would, when you talk about AI, and I mean, let's just have fun here for a minute, because by the way, I hope no matter what happens, and I want to tell you people this, I want to ask you this really, no matter what happens, no matter how bad it gets for you, no matter if you're in the streets with your families, I hope you still listen to this show. I really do. I really hope you still listen to podcasts, even if it gets terrible for you. And I hope it doesn't. But even if it's bad, we're like, you're living in a town of, it's just kind of post-apocalyptic, and it's just large, mountains of trash. And again, people are burning fires to keep warm, and there's wars over water and food. And I hope none of that happens. But if it does, man, I hope you still listen to podcasts. I hope that you still are entertained and informed by podcasts. That's all. But Sam Altman basically has come out and said it. They've said it. They go, why do we need, we have 20 years and also an entire human race. An entire human race needed years and years of evolution to produce the conditions so that we can train people and so that people can have lives. And we don't need it anymore. It has all brought us to this point. They believe they are giving birth to God. This is not a conspiracy. It's not a joke. It's funny. It's funny. But they really do believe they're giving birth to God. And then it's what it is. Then it'll sort itself out. then it'll sort itself out. But they believe they are there to give birth to AI superintelligence plus quantum computing, whatever, and that godlike, omniscient entity is going to run the entire planet, all the governments. It's going to run everything, and it's going to make decisions, and human beings either have to merge with this or take its edicts and accept their fate. But that's what these guys are doing. That's the product. That's the product. So it starts with like, hey, let's automate your Aunt Connie's job in Phoenix. And you might go, fuck Connie. She's a cunt. I don't like her Facebook posts. I'm glad to see Connie on the street. Sure. But there's a lot of Connies out there, and you might be one of them, because apparently this thing's going to take everybody out.